Hi folks, my name's Tim and this is a steel string acoustic guitar. I'm introducing this instrument as part of Macclesfield Music Centre's lockdown video series. I think it's one of the most beautiful and versatile instruments that you can play. Every musician you ask will probably tell you that their instrument of choice is the king or queen of instruments, but I do believe that the acoustic guitar is an incredibly versatile instrument. It can be used in a huge range of different styles. There are lots of other kinds of guitar as well. We've got a classical guitar and another steel string and an electric guitar on the wall, and then you've got your bass guitars and your resonator guitars. I'm talking about the steel string one today, but most guitars are built the same way. They usually have a wooden body, making a sound chamber for the sound to bounce around in, and the sound comes out of the sound hole. Then we've got a wooden neck bolted or glued onto the body with a head at this end. And then we've got this dark wood strip here on top of the neck called the fingerboard. Inlaid into that fingerboard we have frets, strips of metal set out in a very precise mathematical way. That's what makes the guitar a guitar. If you don't have frets on a guitar, then it's a fretless guitar, but it's much more like the cello or the violin kind of instrument. The frets is what change the way that the guitar is played compared to one of the more classical string instruments. But we've got to make a note, and the wood itself isn't going to do that for us. So we've got these steel strings stretched tight from the bridge up to the nut and the head of the guitar. And if I stretch a steel string tight, so it vibrates at a certain frequency, it makes a note. If I use a thick string, it gives me a low note. If I use a slightly thinner string, it gives me a higher note. And then I've got 6 different strings stretched out on this guitar to give me different notes, and I can tune those notes using these tuning pegs here which tighten or loosen the strings. So immediately we've got 6 different notes, but we need a few more notes to play most tunes. So how can we change our notes? Well, that's what the frets are for. If I take one of those strings and play it without doing anything else to it, I get the note of the natural frequency of the string, but I can change that by pressing down on the string, so instead of vibrating from the nut, it now vibrates and touches one of the frets on the fretboard, on the fingerboard. Now the string sounds higher. As I move up, I make the string shorter and gives me a higher note. So suddenly now I can play melodies. Let's see if we can play a melody that uses some harmony along with it. Here we go, so melody and harmony. So by picking individual notes out of the chord, I can play a melody alongside a harmony. There's not that many instruments that can do that. The other great thing about the acoustic guitar is that not only does it do melody and harmony very well, but it also does rhythm. There's not a lot of instruments that can do rhythm as well as a melody and harmony stuff. By playing a chord and then stopping the sound, I'm getting a start and a stop, almost a percussive noise. If I keep it really short, then it's like playing the drums. So we can get rhythm going out there as well. We don't even need to play a chord to play the rhythm. We can just mute the strings and get this. Now that's used a lot in Spanish flamenco music, normally on the classical guitar, but why not do it on the steel string? We don't even need the strings we can do rhythm on the body. So much potential out there. If we combine melody and harmony and rhythm, we can do a whole song on the guitar, which is why it's such a popular instrument for folk singers. They don't need a band when they can do rhythm and harmony and melody. And if you add your voice as another melody instrument, the musical world is your oyster. It's an incredibly useful instrument because it can do all of those different things pretty well. So I hope that's given you a brief introduction to the steel string acoustic guitar. Hope that's whet your appetites, and see you again soon.